Live from my backyard, it's
here
the
we go.
House Podcast.
Yeah.
With the not ready for TikTok players, Tony Liscotti, Mark Wiedewell, Chris Safola,
And Mike Pierce.
and me, your humble host, Mike Russo. Tonight's special guest, Dr. Rob. is in the house.
You know, I love the 70s. Nothing like the 70s.
70s was the best, bro.
Right?
It was, dude.
Even though, look, the 70s chicks.
It was. You know what it
the
was?
70s
It was, you know what it
station.
was? It was cheesy, but it was cool.
That's Susan Anton?
Did you see the list of chicks
And,
that I wrote down?
Oh no.
No, did we have a list?
No, on the last Star Wars show when you went, I wanted Susan Anton.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple 70s
know what I mean?
bitches.
All those-
I'll have a Joan Severance, a Susan Anton, okay,
get any flack,
Madeline
Mike?
Stowe,
God,
okay,
somebody-
Kathleen Quinn.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's right, I did.
I
I
went
see
through the list of all the girls.
got all the
and I'm
list
like,
of
these
girls.
are the 70s chicks.
That's right.
about.
I love them. They're my
Wonder
favorite.
Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Bionic Woman.
Bionic Woman was pretty
Yeah,
hot.
she was all right. She looked all right.
Chrissy, you wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers.
Absolutely, I would kick her out of bed,
Oh,
but she looked a little homey.
Cheryl Ladd. She was
Cheryl Ladd.
Hi. Well, I'm here.
Cheryl
She's
Ladd.
no Farrah Fawcett. But I liked her.
baby.
And the movies back then were so much better.
Then you got the
Yeah,
Dukes of Hazzard
they
girl.
were.
Just a good old boy.
Oh my God, the Dukes of
The
Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. Barbara Bach.
Daisy Duke.
Beats all you never saw. Been in trouble.
You know, I was comparing myself to Dukes of Hazzard the other day.
Did you? In what way, Mike?
Oh, and this is a dumb story. I don't even know if we're going to keep it, but let's
All right,
say
that's
it.
okay.
Because the song came in my head. You know how a song is. Just a good old boy. Never meaning no harm.
So shit kicking.
In trouble with the law from the day they was born. Some shit like that, right? And I was thinking, you know, when I was young, you know, remember we had Tamarack cops. Remember the
Yes, that was before BS.
This is before
Kind
the
of like
BSO.
a Barney Fife. Yeah.
I said, all right, you guys, I'm giving you the count of three. If you ain't out of here on three, I'm drawing on you. 1, 2, 3.
And they were a bunch of,
It was more like
you know, was it, get up, brother. You know what I mean? They went after me. They stopped me in the street.
They were like innocent.
Because I was, I
just can't wait to get.
looked like Bon Scott. I had the long hair and I had the vest on, you know, and the little,
Yeah.
patches. I know you're dealing drugs in my neighborhood. I didn't even start smoking pot yet. and
You
he's
look
like
like a hippie.
harassing me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Then he ended up busting me because my first time, I did some drugs. They got me. You know what I mean?
I broke your shit. He popped
I
your cherry.
told you,
Oh,
get your
and
boy.
he came through in my face. I told you.
I told you. Like,
we
like
got
Jackie
to be
Gleason.
I got me a regular Ben Hur down here.
And I'm like 14 years old.
Oh,
It's like,
God.
I mean, they can't even take me downtown.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Well, we got a cage strong enough to hold an animal like you here.
What the hell is up with this cop?
I don't know. I don't
and
know.
the best back then
That's
was like
funny.
once they pulled you over, it's like 6 cars. It's like a gathering, like you're some kind of serial killer or
That's
something.
when crime was
Yeah.
really nothing. So it was like
Yeah.
when they pulled somebody over back
Yeah,
then.
they had to make
Yeah.
it a point.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got somebody.
I remember when they had the unincorporated. You had Tamarack. You had your, Coral Springs. You still have, but now BSO's taking everything.
No, actually,
Yeah,
Tony, they are. You're right, but Coral Springs is still Coral Springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I-
all right.
I'm sorry.
Margate.
Uh-oh, what do we have here? More backyard action?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's the typical neighborhood.
Oh,
we
my
got
goodness.
this neighbor that plays this Mexican.
I call it it's the nightclub district.
And you know
Yeah,
what? And it's like it's so fucking annoying.
It's not just music. It's just it's that nightclub bass.
Yeah, it's the same
When
beat
he
over
fucking
and over.
shakes
No,
your
no,
house.
no, no, no,
I feel like an old person. And he shakes my house.
Right.
I can't get to sleep at night. You
Kids, stay off of my lawn.
Well, we've had some parties.
Yeah.
We've had some of our own.
I know
share,
Tony
so
and
that's-
Mark yelling at each other all night.
Oh yeah.
When Dave was here.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, good old Dave. Shout out to you,
We
That was
Dave.
a funny night.
How you doing,
We
man?
missed
Hey,
it.
Dave.
That was
Peace.
that was a funny night. The next day, Mark was supposed to go to work,
Oh,
and I had this little
and I
video.
did.
Oh,
He
that's
did
right.
make it though.
How did you do that?
I did it.
It's hard.
Go.
It's very
We
hard.
were up
to-
solving the
See,
world's
Tony,
problems till 6 in the morning, and Mark has to
We
go.
gotta get Dave back.
See,
Yeah, we
Tony,
do.
you don't have that problem. You don't have a job.
No, I did.
He
I
does
did.
have a
I
job.
did. I do have a job.
Oh, you do?
He busted his ass the last fucking
Well, that
week.
was last week.
Well,
Next
he's
week.
retiring now.
Yeah,
Retiring
exactly.
for another couple
he's
days.
taking a break.
Yeah, I'm taking
He's
a break.
break.
So,
Well, he's
so-
got to find something else, you know.
Yeah, that's all.
You know, you're not a young chicken
It's okay.
anymore.
No, I'm no young chicken, and that labor's killing me.
But I'll
How
tell
long
you
are you
what.
gonna last there, buddy?
Yeah,
Oh,
Chrissy,
God.
you come home complaining. Oh, I'm sore. I hurt and I'm aching. And
I broke my back.
He's like a rock, this guy.
when do you hear me complain? Never.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
Hey, Roxy.
I don't know how.
There's
you do
Roxy
it.
girl.
I don't.
know.
I don't. I don't.
Same
All right,
thing.
so
I
what
don't
do-
know how
I
I do
don't.
it.
I really don't.
Eventually
do
going to
it.
have a
I just
topic
do
for
it,
you.
man. You know, it sucks, man, because you know
Gold
what?
Bond.
Yep.
Bond.
You know what it is, Mark?
Swamp ass.
You just go with the flow. You wake up, and you say, God, I feel like shit, but you know what? I just gotta do
Money.
Yeah.
it. No, it's not even about the money. It's about, just doing it.
Got booze.
You know?
Money.
It sucks, dude. It does.
So did you see they got a new Indiana Jones movie coming out?
So, yeah.
I didn't see
How
that.
old is he now? Does anybody know?
I think he's like 80.
How old is Harrison Ford? Series better. Harrison Ford is 80. 80 years old. So
Really?
you know they digitized him into that.
Oh, of course,
He's
dude.
not doing any of them stunts.
He looked like, yeah, exactly. He looked like he was still in his 20s.
No, you haven't seen it?
it's not out yet.
Just
It's not out yet.
the trailer.
Is it in theaters?
Just a trailer. Actually, I saw the trailer. It's kind of confusing. I'm not really sure how I feel about it just
Okay.
yet.
Is it in theaters?
No, not yet. I
Not
think.
yet.
I think it's coming out this summer.
Oh.
But the first one was fucking wonderful, wasn't it? The first
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really good. I've seen.
Well, that's how it always happens.
I
The
remember
first one's
seeing
always the best
Amazing,
one.
I've seen that. And I really.
Oh, we were
enjoyed
kids
it.
when we seen it, right?
And we're like, wow.
I seen it in the theater,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and I remember sneaking in and seeing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loved it.
right?
That was the shit.
Like
Holy
so
smoke, my
Harrison
friend.
Ford.
I'm so pleased you're not dead.
So that was like, oh my god.
I like Salah.
The 70s, it gives you. Yeah, it was a great movie,
Bad dates.
It
right?
was.
Yeah.
It was so great they put out a second one, which
Yes.
was kind of weird. I mean, first of all, it's an adventure, and that's what we go to the movies because we want to be taken away from our dull lives. And it takes you into this land,
Yeah, man.
back in the 40s and the Nazis. Wonderful. So they kept the thing going at the second one, right? Kalima! Indian little Chinese
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Short round.
Short round. Racist ass.
Wow, holy smoke!
Yeah, he is.
And then the third one went to shit.
No, and third one was I love Sean Connery.
Yeah, that was
And
good.
the Holy
Temple
Grail.
of Doom.
You're right.
That trilogy, I thought
Temple
was
of Doom.
fucking
Yeah.
top.
The Last Crusade.
You know what? I didn't see the third one. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
One was-
good.
No, Indy.
Junior.
Yeah.
Fucking
I didn't see that.
We named the dog Indiana.
But he
Sean
is good.
Connery, dude.
He's
Anything
the
he
best.
does, if he takes a shit, I want to watch it.
Yeah, he does. Me too. Me too.
This is a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
It reminds me of our days.
It's coming out. It's almost out.
It's all gone to shit.
God, that's awful.
The question is, what is he doing right now? What was what was the last movie that he did?
What's happening?
my
Hey,
Oh
let me
my
finish
God.
up with the Indiana Jones. Stop trying to move it.
It's going to
somewhere
shit.
else.
I'm gonna drink his vodka.
That's right.
All right, so wait a minute. So then, that's all I'm saying. That trilogy was
That's
awesome.
really good.
Yeah,
Right?
that is good.
Come on, you got to admit it. The trilogy was awesome. The Indiana
Oh,
Jones
yeah.
was awesome.
That's Sky Vodka.
But then they tried to make, They want to make money. I think it was when Disney took over.
Oh boy.
Or
Did
something.
Disney take that over?
Fucking Disney.
Yeah, they took it over. They're the ones putting it.
Jesus,
But
just like
the
Star
fourth
Wars.
one with the Crystal Skull, which I found that
That was cool.
actually a real story, right?
Yeah.
There is a Crystal Skull, which
Yeah,
is,
there is real.
I
There's
have a
7
lot
of
of
them.
questions about that.
There's 7 of them all around the world.
What? We'll have to talk about that.
It's not-
Anyway,
That's for another
first,
show.
what's the first thing that happens in the fucking movie? The nuclear bomb goes off, and to save himself, Indiana Jones puts himself in a refrigerator, and he blows himself in the middle of a fucking nuclear bomb, all the way across, I don't know how far, flying through the air into the ground.
Right.
And he gets down and goes, ah, shit. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
The refrigerator
All
saved
right.
him.
You know, I mean, we believed
Was
all
it-
that shit in the first, second, and the third movie, but now you're just fucking reaching.
Was it like a General?
Only the movies, Mike, that
Was
only
it a
happens.
General Electric or Westinghouse?
No, I think
Are they trying to
'Cause
say
they're better.
if
I
we get
believe
hit
it
with a
was a
nuclear
Frigidaire.
bomb, jump in your refrigerator? Because that was fucking ridiculous.
Well, now we know if there was a nuclear war, we just get in our refrigerators.
So what are they doing now? They're gonna
Must have been a Maytag.
They're gonna put out a new one, and I hope they don't fuck it up again, which I'm sure they're going to.
Yeah, they'll put him in a Maytag.
We used to be like,
I'm the Maytag
we
guy.
used to be duck and roll.
Then to cover.
Duck and roll, yeah.
Duck and roll,
Get
yeah,
under
yeah.
the. Now
Under the
it's just get in your refrigerator. That's what it is.
Oh God.
Not shitting you, man.
It's just movies today is so fucking. It's like
With all the money
so
and technology,
far-fetched,
they're
man.
like more ridiculous now than they were back in the old days.
They're losing the storyline.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're losing the concepts of reality just because of it's theatrical stuff, which is nothing new. They've been doing that for years, but.
No,
When
I
you
think
really
what's
start
happening-
reaching, Mike's right. You don't put your ass in a fucking refrigerator, shoot yourself from here to sunrise, and then think you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know,
What about the Thing? Remember the Thing with that fucking big,
yeah.
the prophylactics, whatever they call it.
Oh.
They don't do that no more. It's all digitalized.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right,
But
yeah.
there's nothing. It's something about that old style of rubber
Yeah,
stuff.
the rubber latex monsters. Yeah,
monsters
man.
that were just, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, now you look at it, you look kind of like,
Yeah,
but I still love the
nice.
Thing. I think that is the shit.
Oh, the Thing's great, man.
There's an artist to it. There's an art to
There's
it.
an art to it,
And sometimes you
absolutely.
can see the goofy shit, and when you can't, then you're like, holy shit. That's
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun to
I
see
think
all that.
I think today's movies is so far fetched because they have so much technology, and you can do anything.
Yeah, it's great. It's
And
entertaining.
it's just
but-
like,
Yeah, it's like
and like you
anything.
said, you lose the storyline,
Like, look at the Marvel movies.
and with their exactly,
just-
exactly, dude.
yeah, you can't even see it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
No, you're
see
right.
it.
It's
And,
not
and you
like
know what?
There's so much shit going on, you can't even see it.
People are not
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like you're not focusing on the story. They want you to focus on all the graphics and the cool shit. Oh wow, that was cool.
But-
fuck the story.
And it takes
the
away
old-
from all
You're
that.
right.
But
No,
the
you're
old
right.
It does take away.
The old Godzilla movies.
Oh God,
They were so corny.
I know,
But-
you loved it.
That's what we had.
We
man.
had that on
Exactly.
Saturday mornings, remember?
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, cut out of
Absolutely.
a, cut out
After
of
all
a
the
bill.
cartoons.
I mean, really look at them.
Remember
They were
Saturday
corny.
mornings? After all the cartoons?
Oh,
come
absolutely,
4
man.
or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Horrible.
Oh, the fucking monster movies would come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Creature feature, double feature.
Oh God.
I'm gonna get a bowl of cereal right
Oh,
now.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Tales
Creature
from the
feature.
Crypt.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, man.
The Crypt.
That was the good shit.
Yeah.
That was the good shit.
A little bowl of fruity pebbles.
Saturday's Supercade will return after these messages.
Hey, right now, Loblaws is having a huge frozen food sale. You can get tremendous value on over 50 frozen food items, frozen vegetables, frozen meat entrees, frozen concentrated juices, ice cream. If it's frozen, you can save plenty. Don't get left out on the cold. Come on in and stock up that freezer. Loblaws frozen food sale. Another reason why more than the price is right. Does he work here?
Roll, Lofi. Roll. Now back to our show.
It sucks being alone, bro.
That's running.
Well, you know.
Some people like it, like you.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
It just drives me.
No, you know what it is, man? Sometimes it's the conditioning that you have in life, and it's where you are. And sometimes it's the way that you came up. For instance, if you are a middle child or the youngest
I
child,
was the youngest.
then it tends to be a thing because
Is that mine?
as the oldest child, you get most of the responsibilities. So you sort of have your pecking order in things. And the oldest tends to be the most responsible.
Correct.
The middle child tends to be the problem child.
Yes,
because
correct.
you know they're not the oldest or the youngest. You know what I mean? So in that aspect of things, they don't have it. And the youngest, well, they're the ones where the parents sort of, you know, they
Coddle
lost the
them.
lust. They lost the luster for discipline. You know, the first child they might
want
have
the chickie
disciplined
under the wing
hard.
still, yeah.
The second one they kind of was loose a
Right.
little bit.
Always beat a little
and
ass
the
baby,
last
yeah.
one can get away with all sorts of crap,
Hello.
man.
I'm
You
the
know what I
favorite
mean?
one.
But
I am, honestly.
Which
you're
one are
right.
you, Chris? Are you in the
Yeah.
middle?
so what happens
youngest.
is,
Oh, you're the youngest.
you know, usually also the youngest.
Explains a lot.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh.
The youngest
like the
tends to be
astrology
starved
is
for
so right,
attention.
yeah.
You know, they starve for attention a lot of times because
Well,
you
that's
know,
me. You're right.
you know, of other circumstances. You know, sometimes it might be they're all, you know, the parents are all in for the oldest because the oldest might be in high school or middle school and they may be more involved in the school stuff than you are at a young age. It could be a number of things. It could be that, you know, the dad's at work. In fact, that's kind of what's going on today in the United States, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? These kids are being raised by social media.
Uh-huh.
They're being raised by the TV.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they don't have a grasp
That's
of
not
reality.
good.
And you've got fathers that are out there that would be good fathers, but they're spending so much time at work that they don't actually
trying to
have
live.
time to father their children.
Yeah, because they're trying to survive.
And mothers just the same.
And it's
so
gonna
what
turn-
happens is these
Yeah.
kids are being raised in school by people that do not have the right to discipline them. So we're
Absolutely,
having
right.
kids coming up in a disciplineless society, and it's going to be crazy.
That's why
It's
they don't
gonna
have
be
any
really
integrity
crazy.
or any manners
And you know
or
what? And we were talking about this earlier, Rob.
or
You know,
respect.
old school is much different than right now. It's just, you know.
Of course it is.
You know, back when we were kids, you know, your mom always stayed home, make sure that the dinner on the table, all the clothes and the house was clean, and the
So-
father
so you-
would go out and make money.
Right.
Now today, it's so messed up. It's a two-person income.
Well, okay.
Well, no, it's not that. Wait. Well, okay. Wait. I just had to ask a question. Do you think that the way you're saying is in America, what's going on with that now, is a product of our society and technology together? Because mostly the kids have their heads buried in the phone. That's all they care about.
Well, that's the
And-
thing. It's by design. I believe it's by design.
It's a product of
because it's
it is.
easy.
It is by
it's,
design.
It's easy to divide people that are outside of the structure of reality and the normal social norms of things. The way
But
that
what is normal?
okay, what is normal is that the girl that lives on the corner or the girl that lived down the street would be the girl that a lot of guys would fall in love with, or perhaps every guy in the neighborhood would have a crush on. But now he can go on Facebook or she can go on Facebook and get the attention of every guy within the state.
Absolutely.
Or the world, for that matter.
And so what ends up happening now is everybody has so many options.
That there's no value in relationships.
And because everyone can wish for the top,
I agree.
and by design get what it is, because young men are usually starved for attention, and young women usually get more attention. And so, you know, they get that princess treatment, you know what I'm saying? And as they grow older, what ends up happening is they get to choose. The women get to choose first a lot of times, because even like in high school, you might have liked a girl that liked someone that was older or whatever.
More
Most of the
status
girls
prone or whatever.
wanted the older guys, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's funny, but when they reach the age of 30, a lot of times they're mad at the guys above the age of 30 trying to get with the younger 20-year-olds, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they themselves in their 20s were dating guys above the age of 30.
But now with Facebook and everything, they don't have any consequences of there not being somebody that could be on the rebound or nothing. They got any. They
There's
should
always
go.
a
There's
rebound.
no. They just go to the next one and
There's
go to the
always
next
a
one. They don't
there's-
even have time to
they
grieve
have-
or hurt.
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
Get all the attention they need.
That's right.
The options for them are limitless until they age
See,
beyond a
data should
certain
be that
amount.
abundant, but not human feelings. You see what I'm saying?
You know, today's world is really scary.
It is, but because of the way that things are set up now. You see, when you look at the older generations, these people, they stay together, you know, and some people, they hated each other, man. You know, I mean, hell, even the shows showed you what it was, man. I mean, when I think of Married with Children,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
Al and Peg, you know what I mean? They hated
Yes,
each other,
it is
man.
extremely.
Yeah.
But,
They
you
stay
know,
there for the kids.
I mean, yeah, Bud and yeah, they were some kids, but okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some
yeah.
people like that.
But yeah.
But no, you're talking about an old school mentality though.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
Because at that time, see,
Dude, even Married to Children still had some values and stuff. Now it's not. It's not even funny.
well,
Married
I
to
mean, think
Children
about
was
it like
funny.
this: when you think about your parents may have been
Values,
together,
morals, integrity,
forever.
honesty, respect.
But you got to remember, your parents came from a place in time where people didn't really move that much, and people that shared culture lived together in one area.
And they
lived in those houses forever, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
They didn't have Facebook.
They didn't have Facebook, but not only that.
But they weren't even
didn't
shown the
move
options of having other
very
Right.
much.
didn't
They
move
went to the
around
same
Family
churches.
was all you had.
Same
They went to the
school,
same markets.
Exactly.
The mothers did the same things. The fathers went to the factory
Jimmy
or did whatever.
comes from down yonder. Has been
And
coming
so-
here for 40 years.
And so what happened is, when two young people got together, they were equally yoked. They were together. Their father
but if the
and
parents
their mother
approved-
lived a similar lifestyle, and they were nurtured the same way.
Right.
So when they got together, they fell into place, man.
Yeah.
You
Now
know what I'm
today,
saying?
forget about it.
Well, the average
Chris, you're
American
Italian.
nowadays.
If you ever wind up with a Jewish girl, don't even bring
The
her
average,
home.
think about it like this, okay? When you talk about the economy being the way that it is today, where even two people cannot afford to buy a home,
No, you're right.
Right.
okay?
You're right.
So
true.
what ends up happening is you have a culture of rentals. And what is the average rental? The average rental goes from 2 to 4 years. So that is the average American moving every 2 to 4 years, which means that the cultures are not solid, which means that people are getting together based solely off of physical attraction now.
Right. Instead
And
of
by the
having
time that they find out they don't like each other, a kid is involved.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is what
Yeah.
the issue
and that,
is.
And that who suffers? The kid. The
and if
child
they weren't so
suffers.
transient, all that
Yeah.
stuff would
Well,
never have happened because they'd still be in their
dysfunction
homes.
creates dysfunction.
You're right.
Right.
Because now what happens is that household splits up, and this child is in a household where they're being raised strictly off of emotion instead of logic, which creates an emotional thinking child, and an emotional man and an emotional woman without logic, because logic has to be taught.
Logical.
Because they don't understand what happened.
They're not understanding what
emotional
happened,
than
and the
logical.
nature.
The child.
The nature of a child is emotion.
Yes.
Yes.
A child comes into this world emotional. That's the reason why logic has to be taught. Logic is what voids emotion.
We already know how to swim. Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's like we're all born conservative, and liberalism is a taught trait.
Well, you know, it's
you
true.
know?
If you really
Or,
think about that.
we're all born not racist. Racist is taught.
Correct.
It is. It
It's
is.
taught.
Correct.
Everything is taught, dude.
Well,
up
okay.
from
Well,
somewhere.
Well, okay.
If we
To
were
be
all
quite
born
honest-
and without that,
To be quite honest with you, prejudice is not something that is taught. It is
Well-
something that is ingrained within the people, because even before that,
You're right.
tribes used to fight against each
oh
other.
yeah, always.
Okay?
It's in our wiring.
So it's always
As to this day,
it's always
Jamaicans are better
exist-
than Cubans. Cubans are better than Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are better
Oh,
than
now you got
Colombians.
that scale going
Colombians
here.
are better than Brazilians.
Hey, man, I like Chinese guys, you know,
It's drilled into you.
Japanese and Taiwanese.
It's drilled into you.
Well, you know what
It's
it
just
is?
human.
No. See,
You know?
but it's a conscious thought. You see, the thing is this,
Why are all
right?
Canadians the same, eh?
What we used to look at as basically something for survival purposes,
Right.
okay,
Right.
is heavily ingrained in some people. All right? This tribalism sort of thing is really what is the grounds of prejudice. The prejudice is tribal. It's like, okay, well, I belong to a certain group.
But like
And you have some people that are like, I'm not dealing with no other group but my group.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is
They kind of do that though,
They-
all the time. They segregate themselves in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's really a comfort zone.
Because it's a comfort zone. Exactly right.
It's a comfort
Yes.
zone.
Right. Right.
Well, it's not within the nature.
Change.
Changes.
It's more of an acceptance as you're coming up.
Mike's over it all.
Well, that's the thing. It's got to be.
You okay, man?
It's got to be part of the evolution of a person, okay? Because if you have somebody that comes up in the same community as their mother, like take, for instance,
Well, if you're
you know,
raised- if
when
you're
you talk
raised-
about when you talk about gang culture in California, for instance, you have uncles, you have at this time you have grandparents that are third, fourth, fifth. You got kids now that are fourth and fifth generation gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And what happened is because of the community they came up in, their nurture, it made them who they are. You get what I'm saying? Because of their surroundings.
Yeah.
So if you have someone that comes up in an area where you're dealing with a bunch of racist people and that's all they know, then that's what they're going to be until
'Cause you're a
they are
product of your
exposed.
environment.
Yes. That's nurture. You're nurtured by your environment.
But they were
You're a
taught that.
product.
Yeah, they
That's
were
the
taught
thing.
that. You are who you
Nurtured
hang
into
with.
that behavior.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is that person has it heavily ingrained, and unless something refines their state of thought, you get what I'm saying? Like they get exposure to someone that
new
actually
ideas, new things.
or they see something
accept it.
that breaks their thought process out of the status quo of what they perceived as that person.
Exactly.
That kind of person.
But
or
then
that
again,
person from
like
that
I
culture.
said, I mean, just like the Germans always think they're better than the French. The French always thought they were better than the English. It's just, it's
We were talking
ingrained.
about.
in all of them.
Whoa, it's two
You know,
here.
it's just the way it is.
Wait,
I mean,
let's get
so
back
you
to
say
what
that
we were
one's
saying.
worse than the other. No, we're all the same. We're all prejudiced just the same.
Well, I've realized this in my, listen, and being in the military and being all
And
around.
no one is excluded.
What I've realized is this. There are good black people. There are bad black people. There are good white people. There are bad white people. There are good people and there are bad people.
Right, that's all it is.
That's what I was just going to say.
There could be Eskimos, you could be Icelandic or
matter
German
what
or
you say.
Russian.
It's bad, it's good or bad, it's just
It
how
don't
it
matter
is.
what your
think?
race is or
They
what your.
got like, there's bad Lebanese people.
That's right, and there's good, there's good Lebanese
Wait, but
people.
let's
And
get
there's
back
good
to.
Lebanese people.
Let Mike talk. Let Mike talk.
Let's go back to what he was saying, but what we started this whole thing about how Chrissy was the last child of a family, so that makes him what, the spoiled brat, is what you were trying to say? Is that what
Well, he probably got away with a lot more than the older
do.
ones got
Right.
away
Yeah.
with.
They tend to get coddled.
Well, he did.
Still to this day.
Right,
He's
Rob?
telling you.
He
did.
probably,
Right, Rob? They tend to get coddled.
well, yeah, they're baby.
I'm the favorite.
They're baby. And so what ends up happening is, in doing that, they get away with it and they sort of yearn for things, and when they don't get things, they may.
They
Kick and scream and take my baseball bat. Go home.
connive.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a condition.
Yeah,
It's,
it
you
is a
know,
condition.
and you have to consciously like say to your. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's
right.
like that analogy about the wolves. You know, you got one that's evil and you got one that's good, and you know, which one are you going to be?
Right.
Which one is going to be the stronger? The one that you feed.
That's right, the one that you feed.
You know, so if
That's
you're,
very
if you're
smart.
trying your best not to be that
That's
way,
pretty cool.
then what you got to do is when you're going in that direction, you have to consciously stop yourself and say, nah, man, I'm not going to do this shit.
Right.
You're talking bingo.
You know.
That's very hard.
I mean, it's only
It is.
hard if you
It's
make
really
it.
You always listen.
Yeah,
you always
Chrissy
say
is-
that.
yeah,
dude.
you
Mentally
always say
conditioned.
that.
I don't even think you're listening.
Look, what you do,
but
what you're
keep
doing
But
right
you're not-
now
you're not
is
trying,
you're affirming yourself. You're
lying
You're not
self
taking the prescription. He's
you're
giving you.
self-prophetic
Yeah.
in what you're saying.
Okay.
telling yourself that.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, because regardless of what people say, words do have power.
Right.
The problem is that words don't have power when it comes to strangers, to everybody.
Right.
But it has a lot of power when it comes to you speaking to yourself.
That's right. That's
It has
the
a
most
lot
powerful.
of power when it comes to you speaking to
That's
people
true,
that you're
Rob.
close to. Because when you speak from the heart, your intentions, sounds, man, even there's like experiments even with water when it comes to sounds. Positive and negative vibrations. And when you speak negatively upon yourself,
You're going to start to believe it.
it's self-prophetic, man.
Wow.
You could say, man, why the fuck am I always doing this. And you'll fall into it because you're speaking it, man. And you're speaking it into existence.
That's what I'm thinking.
So you saying that this shit is hard is going to even make it harder for you.
Because you're saying that and you're believing it.
Because yeah.
And it's just you're just saying that because it makes you feel better. It's actually an escape. It's a cop-out.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
If you really...
it is.
Yeah, I get that.
You're right. You're right, it is.
So you got to build from that, man. And what
Self-prophetic is so hard to recognize.
You have to be conscious and saying to yourself when you're about to stumble or even go back to that shit that brings you back to that comfort zone, because really that's what it is. It's a comfort zone.
No,
it's you being, it's you falling
Chrissy, it's a cozy comforter. You got your fire stick in there. You got your pillow.
We'll leave the light on for you.
But you have to consciously say to yourself, you know what, man, fuck this shit, man. I'm not gonna do this. And when you do that, what you're gonna start doing is you're gonna logically start evaluating shit. And you're gonna say to yourself, you know what, man, let me put this shit into perspective. Man, am I being fucking manipulated? Or man, is this person really just telling me what the fuck I want to hear and then going behind my back and not doing this shit intentionally? It makes you look at all the moving pieces and evaluate that shit if you're outside of your emotion. But when you're inside of your emotion, you're going to say, oh, man, that shit is hard. But it's not really hard, man. It's not hard.
Self-prophetic, exactly.
It's self-prophetic. And you're saying that it's hard,
And you know what, Chrissy? You're like me because we're really hyper. You got the best heart in the world, but you never, and I don't either, would take the time to evaluate.
Exactly.
You're too fucking bouncing everywhere that situations go right by you.
Exactly.
So you gotta start.
I'm full
I'm
throttle.
trying to learn
It's
how
like,
to-
how do you fucking take the throttle and fucking go down and go, well, let me think about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I would never see you doing that.
I know. That is funny.
Well, you
She's
fucking,
saying that.
Instead of going, I better listen to Rob and go,
Well, how about this?
excuse me, before I fucking yell at you, give me 2 seconds.
Listen, how about
Yeah,
this?
there you
how
go.
About,
I mean, it's
how about
like,
this?
what the fuck?
But then seriously think.
Look, okay. So,
Go ahead, I'm listening.
okay, I'll break it down to you like this.
Break it
'cause
down, baby.
All right. What do you do to keep a wire from blowing out? Let's say that a storm hits a house and it short circuits everything. What do you install to keep that shit from happening again? What do you install?
A fucking
a circuit breaker. A circuit breaker, right? To make sure that, if the overloads with electricity and shit, right? It doesn't it trips
It's a
or
round
whatever.
fault circuit,
right?
Chrissy interrupted.
It doesn't fry everything, right?
Right, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's going on with you right now is you need to surround yourself with logic to eat that fucking emotion out of you, because if you feed yourself with logic, then what ends up happening is you start to be more logical instead of
Start
emotional.
thinking and doing. Yeah.
If you're surrounded by emotional people, a man that's surrounded by women is never ever going to be able to escape the emotional thought process.
That's awesome.
I'm fucked.
Good luck with that.
Rob, am I fucked here?
Well,
No,
I mean,
you're not
the thing
fucking.
is
Depends
this.
on what you.
The thing is this, bro.
No, really.
Okay, ask yourself in a situation, okay, you have to evaluate the chaos. So you have to say, damn, man, what chaos is this person bringing me? When they fucking call you, what chaos is this person bringing me? Is this person like asking me to do something that's gonna get me fucked up, gonna get me shot? Is this person going to do something that's going to make me have to end up out of character for some reason?
Right.
Is this person, going to do something that's going to make me have to do something excessive that, to be quite honest with you, is not going to be beneficial to me?
That's right. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Dude, I'm so happy.
Should we wrap it up?
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
So really, honestly, no bullshit, dude. I'm
so
not
good. I
fucking
don't want to
happy.
stop it.
But Chrissy, real quick, you've got to do it though. That's what it is. Instead of reverting back to that self.
You know what? He's giving me the tools, bro.
But you can easily fall into the self-prophetic again unless you think about it.
Podcast has become me. You're a derpy.
Actually, that helped me out a lot too, Rob. Thank you, man.
Fucking A.